And again, there was a situation, somebody spoke to somebody in a way that was completely disrespectful and not acceptable. That came to my attention. I, as the leader, I keep the culture. Whatever I do in moderation, I give permission for everybody else to do in excess. Everybody's paying attention to me. What I'm wearing, what I'm saying, what I'm drinking, who I'm sitting next to. Me and Jose had a conversation. He's at a thing, and he's a young, handsome dude, and this chick is like, oh, I'll go with you to go get it. He's like, nope, somebody else go get it. She's like, oh, I'll sit next to you. He's like, nope, I'm gonna sit over here. Why? Everybody's watching him. Not only that, he has a super high level of integrity. He wouldn't do it. But like, the point is even if he was like, yeah, whatever, like who cares? I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean? Oh, it gets wild. Oh, did you see? Oh, did you see? Oh. I've had situations where people are like, yo, I want to go out and do whatever. I'm like, yeah, my wife's coming. Why? You're young and attractive, and you're in proximity to me. It's not that I don't trust myself. How quickly could that turn into like that? Immediately. But we had somebody who spoke to somebody in a way that was completely unacceptable. When that came to my attention, I addressed it immediately. What I got back was not apologetic or self-aware. You know, EXP is an independent company, right? It's not my brokerage. I just have control over what I do. So I refunded their ticket and they couldn't come to one of our events. But I demonstrated to every woman in the organization, nobody's gonna speak to you disrespectfully. I don't care how many deals you do. I don't care if you're the Kobe Bryant of selling real estate. Nobody's above the culture. That's what I mean by toxic interpersonal dynamics. Poor, offensive, disrespectful communication amongst team members. Disagreements over referral fees. You think if you have 500 agents, you're not gonna have disagreements over referral fees? Agents leaving because of conflict with other partners. Usually it's emotional. Has nothing to do with business. Pay attention to what I'm about to say, okay? Holding back and avoiding these conversations is an act of selfishness. You are trading off your discomfort for theirs. You leave them to experience greater pain when their shortcomings manifest themselves in their personal performance and their performance in the org. So by me not having that uncomfortable conversation with you, I'm actually setting you up for more pain. And I'm being selfish because I'm putting my discomfort above your progress. You see how this is counterintuitive? We want to run away. No, we should be running directly towards it.
The life experience that too. I wouldn't speak up to my partner for like years, and it created a lot of resentment. So like it shows up in business and in your personal life.
Listen to what I'm about to say to you. All business problems are personal problems. It's where they come from. But it's just this awareness that if you sign up to be a leader, that's your job. So as a leader, I want to be reliable. You can rely on me. Capable. If you have a problem, I can show up and help you. Right? And dependable. You can depend on me. So here's leadership reflection questions. Do you feel spending time developing leaders and their interpersonal dynamics is a waste of time? Do you ignore uncomfortable conversations about behavior with leaders in your company or in your organization? All the time, all the time, all the time. Well, I'm telling you, listen to me, if you want to build something huge, and is everybody convinced, are you clear on how enormous this opportunity is? It's unbelievable. If you want to be a leader and you want to build, you have to learn this skill set. If you answered yes to either one of those two questions, you may have the wrong motive for leading. You're actually signing up for that job. Rethink your attitude about building an executive team. Here, you have two choices, okay? Either rethink your attitude about building the executive team and your role in it, or you could just accept that the organization that you lead will never come to realize its full potential. So would you rather learn to live with a person's difficult behavior than endure an awkward, potentially emotional discussion? Do you find yourself venting about behavior issues rather than talking to the individual directly? Again, if your answer is yes, your motive for leading may be off. These are the 5 responsibilities most often avoided by leaders. The first one is they fail to develop a leadership team. They're thinking about their production, they're thinking about their units, but they're not thinking like, who around me has the capacity to lead? They fail to manage subordinates and hold them accountable to stuff. They're like, hey, you're a grown up, I shouldn't have to pay attention to what you're doing. They abdicate their responsibility, right? It's the difference between taking your hands off something and taking your eyes off something. They avoid difficult conversations. They avoid to run great meetings that are awesome, that people walk away from and they're like, man, that was good. They were fun, they were informative, I learned a lot, they're transformational. And they fail to communicate constantly and repetitively. They fail to be that chief reminding officer. So here are the key takeaways. Leadership is not a reward. It's a burden to be carried with integrity. If you find yourself as a leader, be like, man, I wish somebody else should be doing this. No, you have to say to yourself, hey, this is responsibility. I'm doing something that other people don't want to do or can't. It shapes how you show up as a leader every day. If my leadership motive is rewards based, I'm going to show up to people like, yo, I don't care what you're doing. Who cares? Figure it out. I got my own stuff to deal with, yes? True leadership is service driven. It's others focused. How can I help you? How can I serve you? So reflection questions. Why did I become a leader, or why am I interested in becoming a leader? Is it only for what I can get, or is it about what I can give? Which hard responsibilities am I avoiding? I'm curious. Who wants to be brave enough to raise their hand and tell me what responsibilities they're avoiding? Yeah.
Conflict within like the team.
Yeah.
Like there's an assistant who just doesn't get along with an agent.
I remember you told me. Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah. Maybe you guys can figure that out. I don't know.
Chats, but I'm probably not direct enough.
Yes, not.
Like putting my foot down enough.
Yeah.
Eventually, like one or both of them could have definitely leave.
Leaving. And think about, to your point, like, you know, in the model that you built, which is powerful and it's really awesome, we've had discussions around, like, the risk is only spread out on a certain number of people.
Yeah.
And some of them are key. Like, your key person that's having a conflict with them, she's a linchpin. She's so important. So, like, having reflected on this and you take a look at that, it's like, oh, it's actually my responsibility. Like, even though I don't want to do it, it's my responsibility to do it as the leader. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I've got 2 businesses in one small office, sales and property management. And property management on a daily basis is freaking crazy. There's crazy going on all the time. And then I've got a property manager who likes to spell everything out and tell everybody how crazy it is. I'm getting to a point where I'm just gonna say, I gotta let you go, or I'm almost at a point where I wanna sell the freaking business. But at the same time, I wanna keep it because it brings in 25 grand every month. And at the same time, I really don't have to manage this woman. But at the same time,
This is, hey, you know what you just walked through? His progression while he's laying on his pillow. At the same time, right? Yeah, but here's what's interesting. So based on what you're describing, there's a few kind of things that pop up to me immediately. One is a direct conversation with her about behavior.
Correct.
But that's part of a leader, is having uncomfortable conversations about behavior. And he talks about that in the book, like, hey, he said there was somebody who would show up to a meeting and like they smelled. And how like weird that is, but like it bothered people. The leader's the one that has to have that conversation. Tactfully, professionally. So that conversation of like, hey, here's what I'm aware of and here's what I'm noticing, quiet, but not like a directive. You need to change, otherwise you're gonna get fired.
it doesn't work.
No.
I did bring it up in our last meeting
Good.
about keeping it all
In front of other people?
Right in the meeting
Yeah.
about how I wanted the
Yeah.
office not to be so friggin' loud.
Yeah.
Because I reiterated that my morning schedule brings in the business for this office.
Yeah, so
for
here's-
this office to exist.
Well, here's the awareness that I have. So you said that to them based on why it's valuable to you. Not to them. Yeah, but not to them. He's like, yeah, what the hell's the problem? What are we talking about? So again, how you communicate something like matters. So what pops up for me is like, hey, I'm noticing something. I'm noticing that throughout the day, the volume, on the property management side of the business, it's just really loud. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious, like from your guys' perspective, do you think that like affects your like ability to serve clients at a high level? Does it affect your ability to be able to, having like an enjoyable working environment? See, because that's about them. And then I would propose, okay, it's a group conversation, but then it's a direct conversation with her, which is uncomfortable.
Yep.
So here's what's true with this person. I probably wouldn't list their home. What's happening now is the mechanism with which money is transferred is what's changed. So it used to be the seller agreed to a professional fee. At closing, at a title company, the money went to the listing agent. The listing agent is the one that's paying both sides, the listing brokerage. Now the mechanism, they decoupled that. So the mechanism is that the seller pays the listing agent and the seller can pay the buyer's agent, or the buyer's agent pays the buyer's agent. With that, people think like, oh, I don't have to pay a buyer's agent. Okay, well, let me ask you a question. If there were 10 homes on the market for sale, you're a buyer. 7 of them are offering to compensate your agent. 3 are offering no compensation, so you would have to compensate your agent. As a buyer, which properties would you instruct your agent to show you first? And why is that?